All right, guys, so this is an important video. This is exactly how I'm able to find 3K to 10K per month profit products very first try. Now, of course, you've seen on the YouTube, sometimes I'll have something that goes 5K per day in profit, but generally, if we can hit this mark, this is fantastic. And so I refined this list, so I want to go over it and I'm going to show you some examples. So this is super, super, super important. So the first one I really want to hype on is margin. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about margin as far as, ooh, how much profit am I going to be taking if I sell this product? No, this is what I use for a 30,000 foot view to quickly analyze the competition in the scope. So I'm going to give you an example in a little bit, but typically what we're looking for is a 3x markup if a product is under $40. If it's over $40, that's fine. We need a 50% margin. This is just because of the simple supply and demand curve, right? If there's a lot of competition, a lot of supply, and a good amount of demand, well, the price is actually going to lower, and you're going to see that there's very thin margins. And I personally don't want to sell in a space where I have to do like circus acrobatics in order to get a sale. So a good example is actually this one right here. So these are hearing aids. Now, this is one good example of kind of looking at the landscape. You can get these things for about like 30 bucks and people are selling it for 100 to 200, and it's really a unicorn product. It's not really likely that you're going to find something like this, and you can see that people are starting to catch on. Look, now people are selling it for $64, so now we're at a 50% margin. And you can keep on going down the line and seeing all these other products. But nonetheless, there are people making an absolute killing like nano hearing aids. Now, another example that's a little bit more fair is like this, tactical gloves. These are gloves that you can actually get for around $5. And people are willing to pay $20 to $35. Well, this is actually not the tactical gloves we're looking for. It's actually just these two. And so this is a great example. Now, an example of it being very saturated is like this, custom socks. Now, originally you could have sold these things for 29 bucks easy. Now, as a lot of people started getting into this, now the margins are getting thinner, and look, you have people selling it for $12.95. Like, that's how much, truthfully, you can get it with shipping. So this is absolutely ridiculous. This is a good example if you're seeing a lot of Alibaba, a lot of Best Buy. It's just not worth to get into. Now, remember, this is just, we're going over an overview, just as a broad overview, and then I'm going to start getting into more and more details. So this actually kind of brings me into my next point, which is opportunity. What is the opportunity here? Now, in this course, obviously, we're going over a lot of good tactics in order to make your opportunity very, very good. Because the fact is a lot of people don't know anything about Google Ads. This is not an optimized listing. These aren't optimized. Like the fact that they only put invisible hearing aid, hearing bloom X1, this is terrible. What you could have put is hearing aids for seniors, hearing aids for the elderly, all these different keywords, and start ranking and increasing your impression share. So almost every product, we're going to have some kind of opportunity, but what is going to be an easier opportunity for us? So if I click on this one, the next kind of opportunity I was going to highlight was actually the landing page. Our landing page is going to be, I'm going to give you guys obviously the best landing page that converts. This is not bad. Like what they have, even though it's not great, the problem is that it's not bad. We kind of want to go after things that are not very good, because since they're going over, they're going to the older demographic. The older demographic is really looking for things like this. Just very kind of simple, crappy looking landing pages. I mean, I honestly would have removed these emojis for sure. They don't want to see that. They would rather see something more professional. This is really good. So you got to also know who you're talking to, and probably what is their main money driver is this phone number right here. I mean, you got to know who you're targeting. So this is not like a great opportunity where I'm like, ooh, I'm going to blow them out of the water. There's not much here for me to say like my angle is going to be better than theirs. And now, especially with this, like custom socks, like this is something that with point number one, I wouldn't even look into anymore because there's too much competition at a low price. So now the second thing I want to go over is customer price resistance based on niche. Super important, way underrated. And this is going to help you also figure out kind of your pricing and what you could even price your products as. And so in a simple term, what this means is what is someone willing to pay for that specific product in that specific niche, and what are they used to paying in that niche? So in the gifting niche, for example, people have a very tough threshold. There is a threshold on how much they're willing to pay because it's for someone else. But if it's for themselves, or if it's to solve a problem, or if it's like clothes or these nice new boots, people are willing to pay whatever because it's more of a vanity factor in there. So if we were to look at this, people are willing to pay, truthfully, like honest, legit hearing aids cost around $5,000. And I think that's even with insurance or whatnot. Truthfully, I don't know. I have no idea, but I know it's upward of $5,000. So when people see $200 or $700, their biggest question is this a scam? Because it almost seems unreal. Like this is more likely, like $2,700. But if we go over here in hair extensions, this is another really good example. You can see that there's a broad range of what people are willing to pay for this specific product. So if you're seeing there's a price ceiling of $140, and you're looking to sell at 70, well, good. That's a good position in the price ceiling. You don't really want to be at the tippy top unless you're really going to go ham on influencers and everything. Like a good example, actually, I'll give you guys this Try Snow. They went to the very top price ceiling. They knew that no one is really paying, like whitening strips, they cost like, I don't know, like $20. They went to $150, but it's because to whiten your teeth at a doctor's office is $300. So the price ceiling with a legitimate doctor with all credibility on the side is literally $300. But they had to really push their credibility and the results factor heavy in order for them to really charge at the premium price. And you can see they're even charging $300. They're literally at the top. So what I suggest is when you're looking through, if I can go back to my other example, you want to see this and you want to be below the kind of tippy top price ceiling, which I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Now, on the contrary, if you see, for example, there's a lot of people selling at a low price, like $6, $12. Now, you have a couple up here, 29 and 24, but for the most part, you're seeing now even $5.99. Jesus. Then you're like, oh man, this is going to be tough. This is just not going to be worth your time, honestly. With how many products there are out there, it's ridiculous. Now, if I go to the next point, oh man, this is going to be so good. Risky refund rate percentage. A perfect example I could do is like let's just look at weight loss devices. Like if we go right here, a lot of this stuff is not worth your time to sell because they simply do not work. And we look at this product, which I think everyone and their mom has seen. This is a product that has been blown out of the water and truthfully probably has had more refunds than most products because it simply just does not work. This is like a blatant, like obviously you're not going to get abs from putting something on your body that does the work for you. It's just a really good angle and people can make a lot of money with it. But if you're going to be selling a product like this, you're going to have a lot of angry customers. People are going to literally start filing disputes as you ship out the product. So you're going to be out the cost of goods. You're going to be out the marketing that you paid for. And you're going to start getting a little bit frustrated because you're going to be like, shoot, like, how am I going to, restructure my refund rates? How am I going to, it's just not a good business. And it's honestly a lot of anxiety. So you need to make sure that you have something that works. And if you're selling something that is breakable, like if you're selling something that's like glass, you also have to factor that in as well. It's not just about like problem-solving products. Even products that simply don't work or have technical issues, you need to figure that out right away with your supplier, because that's going to increase your margin. You want to try to go really low on refund rate. And even another thing that I've been experiencing is like user manuals. Redo your user manuals exactly how the customer wants. If they have a bunch of questions and they're pissed off about the user manual, they will literally file a dispute. And they're like, I don't know how to use it. So people are kind of weird on that one. Now, the next one is SKU simplicity. You do not want to have a ton of SKUs, because as you start scaling, you're going to have to be really savvy on stock prediction. Like, ooh, we need a small, a medium, a large, a black medium, a black large, a red medium. Like, it's going to get very, very, very complicated, and it's going to actually really hurt. Like, it's going to hurt your profits, because there's no way you can constantly stay in stock unless you're going to really hedge your bets and buy a lot of stock up front. I personally don't like to do that. A good example is actually this. If we look at these hair extensions, if I was to go into this space, I would look to just narrow it down to like a specific type of hair. So if we went to something that's a little bit more specific, we could see that yes, there's different sizes, but there's less colors. Natural black, okay, cool. And there's just like a couple different sizes for the length of the hair. This is something I would lean more towards. So this is just one example, and I'm sure you guys kind of know where I'm going with this, but simplify your life with SKUs, and you'll really thank me later. So then the next one is demand and seasonality. This is really huge, and I really want to hype on seasonality because this is obviously where I first started. Seasonality means like, you know, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, or even winter or summer. So that becomes a blessing and a curse, because if we look at, I'll just actually draw it out. So some issues you might not notice with seasonality is if you time out the season right, you'll be like, oh man, there's no issues. This is great. Like, I'm getting all these sales. Like, I am so happy. But then as soon as the season starts to die, you're like, oh shit, I hired these people. I figured out my systems. I'm perfecting my ads, and all of a sudden now everything's going down. Now, how am I going to keep the extra new hires? When is the seasonality going to go back up? And so you're playing this game, a really tough guessing game, and plus you're going to have to like predict stock unless you're going to just go straight into drop shipping, which with the seasonality products, I was just drop shipping. So like for me specifically, when it became to like Valentine's Day, oh, huge. And then I had, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and then, a couple little holidays here, but then, ooh, Christmas. And then after that, oops, dead for another month. So it was super hard to predict, who's on the team, how are we going to keep you guys? Oh, I promise we're going to still have a business by next Christmas. It's a headache, but it's also a cash cow, because when you're up, you're banking on it. And, it's definitely one of the easier ways to make money. Now, for example, if you were to go into, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but if we were to look at like Valentine's Day, everyone is looking at buying like a teddy bear. And so what a lot of people sell every single year, not just last year or the year before that, every damn year, it's unreal, it kind of surprises me, are those flower teddy bears. You could see like $200, that's actually ridiculous, but around $60 is probably the range that I personally would sell. These things go insane around Valentine's Day, and all you have to do is, time the spike. Okay, great, you got a lot of sales, and then after that, how are you gonna maintain that? I have no idea. But it's a good way to get started if you really want to, but understand it is a complete blessing and a curse. So if we were to look at like, custom gifts, if you were to go into like the customizable gifts, like even like custom necklaces and everything, this is a nice way to look at like where your spikes could be for seasonality. But truthfully, it's not really accurate. Like it's about 70% accurate, but sometimes you'll notice that, shoot, your Valentine's Day is going to be whew, and then every other day is like, it's okay, but then it spikes up again. And now, why isn't this completely accurate? Well, because even though there is demand here, it's not factoring in the competition. So some months you might have more competition than others. Like Christmas, you will see a huge spike, but is it going to be what looks to be 10 times more sales and profit than, let's just say, this spike? It could not be. It could be, 2 times more. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is just a broad checklist. I'm going to be going over more examples so that way we really hammer this in. But understand this is just the quick checklist that I go over just as fast as I went over with you guys. This is what I do mentally when I'm going over different products, right? So go over this checklist and kind of see, okay, what is my customer price resistance? Do I have some wiggle room? Oh, some people are willing to pay $120. Some people are paying $40. All right, I can kind of sink my way in the middle there, but really become like the dominant company in that space by hyping on really good ad strategy, really solid landing page, and obviously looking completely legit, not like a spammy drop shipper, and also focusing on the angle of the product, which I'll be going over later in other videos. So hopefully this makes sense, and I'll see you guys in the next video. In this video, I'm going to be going over a list of products, and I'm going to show you kind of my mental thought process and my framework of going through each of them and whether I think it's a good opportunity, an okay opportunity, and what my experience has been. Now, the first thing I want to actually go over is, if you noticed in the last video, I never went over search volume. That's because the search volume I've noticed is irrelevant and is confusing a lot of people. Like if I was to actually go to this first product right here, if we go over here and see, oh, 9,900 searches a month, this must mean that it's good. That doesn't really mean anything unless we have all of these other these checklists, the margin, the opportunity. We need all 6 of these because the byproduct will be that there's plenty of demand. What I noticed and what I recently got into is when I was testing products and when I was launching in new stores, is that some of them wouldn't even have any search volume, but I'd be siphoning search volume from terms I didn't even understand would convert, but they were converting. And then I took up that impression share, all of those weird terms, and now it's becoming one of the more profitable, easiest products I've ever done. So when I created this list, believe me, I really thought through it. And so now what I want to do is go through the examples step by step and show you like an updated version of what's working right now and why. So first, let me go over this one. Now, I like this product because I see that there's legitimate companies, TB12, Hyperice. I see that these people are selling mainly this product. And that tells me that there is a market of people that just want this specific product. So I'm like, ooh, okay, first check mark. The second one, of course, is margin. Now, I can easily find a product that is around $40 and does all the features as their thing for around $100 or $200. And so if I can fit myself in the $100 range, another check mark. However, what I want to go over now is their landing page. Their landing page is fantastic. Their angle is fantastic. I don't see an opportunity for me to come in and wipe them out or get a big piece of the pie because they did it very well. So I'm at a stage where I'm looking for, bigger products that I could probably brand and really launch into a legitimate company. However, could this make $3,000 a month in profit? Absolutely. In my opinion, if you put the ads together correctly and you really focus on a good landing page, good angle, and seem as legitimate as a company up here. Some people, they notice cheap crap like this. If you're like, oh, there's people selling that are cheap. Yeah, but I can't stress this enough. There's a huge difference in looking completely legitimate versus just selling cheap crap. There's always going to be a market for people to buy, oh, it's just cheap. But it's not going to become the most profitable campaign you've ever ran. If you sell it like you're a legitimate company, but you're priced at $100 because now it's on sale, that's just a small example. If I was to give this a rating of how excited I'd be to, try this out, I'd give it maybe a 6 just because I don't see how I can really take this off. But could it make $3,000 per month profit? Sure. Yes, it absolutely 100% could. So another angle that I personally really like is actually, instead of only focusing on business to customers, so selling B2C, you can go B2B, where you, the business, sell to another business owner. And so this is a fantastic product that you can sell that people are actually searching for. Now, let me just quickly highlight why I kind of look at this search volume and what I personally use it for. I don't use the search volume as exact coordinates to my destination. I use it as like a north and south. Is there anything here? Is there some search volume? If I go and I type in random terms of the pop-up canopy tent and I see there's no one searching, I'll be a little bit like, okay, that's kind of odd. But if there's actual competitors here that are selling, I'm okay with that, as long as the other check marks and I see other competitors selling in this as well. I know there's some kind of demand. So this is another example, and I know you can actually get this similar one. I think this one or this one on Alibaba. And if you can get, good margin on it, this is a fantastic product. Now, there's also weird niches like this, like Detox Ion Foot Massager. This is something that would be very interesting to try, because it's kind of a hidden product, very odd, but it's for a very select few people that truthfully believe in it. And what's cool is you can see this looks very enticing. You start with clear water and all of this comes out of your foot. It's a very nice marketing angle. Now, I just really don't know if it works. And so what I sometimes do is I would go and look this up on Amazon. If there's a crap ton of bad reviews, I wouldn't even bother with it. If I can't get this product for about 25 bucks before shipping, I wouldn't even bother with it. However, I do like this niche. I do like this idea. So I wanted to show it to you guys, because there's a lot of people selling in this, right? There's a ton of people selling these foot baths, foot massager, great, but even this detox thing there's a reason why there's a lot of people kind of popping up right here. Now, the next thing I want to show you is this, a portable fish finder. This thing is a great idea and I love it. I love it for a couple reasons. First of all, fishing and all that, it's a very, very, very passionate niche. People with a lot of disposable income. Now, if I was to actually go into a little bit deeper, another reason why I like it is because there is a little bit of seasonality. So I like how it goes. It's either up or it's down. There's no other like little trickeries here. It's either up or it's down. So when your high season is, and where your low season is. So it looks pretty good, and especially if you can catch the wave right around March and April, ooh man, I think it's a great idea. So this in general, I really like, especially, now let me just highlight something. If I see Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, I don't care. I do not care if I see all these people, but if I see them and their margins is thin, then it's like, I don't know how I feel about that. However, if I see there's a person that's just selling one product, and it really seems like a one product store, they really hyped in on this, portable fish finder, then I know that there is demand for it. And I'm selling in a niche that's extremely saturated and doing just fine. So just kind of keep, like I said before, keep that checklist in mind. And don't be kind of deterred by a couple like, oh, I see, Amazon right here. No one would choose me. I thought the same thing, but my opinion quickly changed like a year and a half ago. So also, if I was to go to this 3D laser engravings, I wanted to just show you this because this was something I was thinking to get into. I really liked this niche. I saw that there was actually a lot of opportunity. I would make sure that you kind of double check and make sure your margins are there. But this is definitely, like, people are fanatic about this. This is, something that you can either target towards animal lovers, towards obviously just general family photos. But this is, to me, it's pretty evergreen. If your margin is there, where it's a 50% margin at least, I can tell you firsthand that I'm selling, like in the case study store that I'm showing you guys, I'm selling in this giftable niche, and I got pushed way in the back because of the issues that I'll talk to you about in the other videos, and I'm still getting sales. So if you can rank somewhere around here, I can't imagine this being a bad idea as long as it meets all the other criteria. Now, the kind of next one I wanted to show you is a different angle and something I tried not too recently, but about 7 months ago, and it's killing it. It's crushing it, and I'm so happy I tried this new angle. And what it is by tying in a ton of emotion, not just emotion as in buy now, you're overweight, you need to do this for your family. It's not like that. It's more of like, you're gonna buy this and we're gonna donate. And by the way, as you start making money, donations are great for tax purposes. So this is an example from a legitimate company, the World Wildlife Fund. And basically they're selling a sloth for you to pretty much adopt a sloth in the wild. And I thought that was so cool. And it's just a great idea to do, where you can sell a product and tie it into an emotion. Like if you're selling in the ocean niche, there's like 1,000,001 ways to do that. Actually, there's a company right now that is selling these bracelets. Give me a minute. Okay, I found the company and I typed in Ocean 7 bracelets. It's for Ocean. Whoops. I think this is a movie. But this company right here is completely doing the best marketing campaign you could ever imagine. And they're actually, if I go right here to SimilarWeb, look at this dip. But not much of a dip, because 600,000 searches a month or visitors a month is pretty hefty. This is amazing. But that's not really the point. The point is that they're selling these cheap little bracelets in droves, and they've been in business for years, and they're selling it because they're cleaning up the ocean. Now, they're actually legitimately cleaning up the ocean, which is really, really, really cool. I'm super happy about that. But what I'm trying to say is that this is not a hot product. This doesn't glow in the dark and then does, a backflip on your arm. It doesn't do anything. It's all emotion. And they tied it in so well, and they're absolutely raking it. And they're raking and cleaning the ocean as well at the same time, which is fantastic. So this is another angle that I'm personally doing, and it's working like gangbusters. So that's another way that I want you to just kind of be creative. And if you find the opportunity to do this, I highly suggest doing it. Now, a couple other products I want to quickly go over is in the toys niche. This is a great niche to go into. And if I was to kind of go specific, if you're looking at a niche and looking at products to sell, which I know this video is mainly about products and examples, but I just wanted to give this quick kind of overview. I like this niche, and I like kind of trying to find a product in this niche. But if you find yourself in the same situation where you're like, oh, well, what product should I choose? Products that are more up in the front have higher click-through rate and is pretty much ranked higher because of either domain authority, because, oh, it's Nordstrom, or because it has a high click-through rate, low bounce rate, high relevancy. And what that means is a lot of people like this specific product, or at least the look of it. So this would actually lead me towards looking at like a firefighting kind of toy set. I see another firefighting kind of toy set. This probably would do super, super well in Christmas, and it's something I personally would look more into if I had more time. So I just wanted to quickly show you that. And then the last one is magnetic eyelashes. I mainly wanted to pull this up because I just wanted to kind of encourage you guys. There are going to be niches that seem just super, super saturated. I don't always recommend, of course, like what I mentioned in my video, don't just go into a saturated niche. But at the same time, if you find a product that has good margin and you find one that has an exuberant amount of demand, like 74,000 searches a month, insane, I wouldn't totally dismiss it. I would give it a go. If you're kind of tight on cash, then just go for a better opportunity. But I will say there are some hidden gems in these weird saturated niches that you would have thought like, there's no way I'm going to make a killing in this. Yes, you definitely can. And I know that firsthand. So I wanted to mention that just as a little reminder that, look, if you're doing your product research, which we're going over in the next videos, and you have a product you really want to try, but it's just, you see all these other competitors, I wouldn't totally dismiss it. Just kind of keep it on the side, and it can be your last resort, and it might honestly be a good one. So Anyway, these are a couple examples, and I'll see you guys in the... All right, so I'm going to give you guys my best strategy for finding these Google Ads products and what I've noticed to work consistently. Now, before I start, one of the things I just want to mention is that this, in specific, finding a good product is one of the harder things to do, but is also the main reason why I love Google stores. All these other Facebook dropshipping kind of spammy ads, everyone tries to post their screenshots early on, and then all of a sudden they have no more results the next month. It's a complete turn and burn business. It's terrible. However, with Google stores, why I've had such long-term success and I've been able to replicate it over and over and over is because that this style is different. Once you find a product, once you find a niche, it is so easy to keep it going for months on end, and it just gets better and better and better. Your ads get better, your product ranks better, and you become more profitable because you're selling more units and you can get a better deal from your supplier. Everything gets better. With Facebook, everything gets worse. So this strategy, I just want to say, if you're like, oh, well, it's hard to find a product. Yes, but that's why it's great. Now, I'm going to make it a lot easier for you to find products. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. So the first thing I want to show you is eSniper. This is actually a tool dropshippers use, but let me show you how we're going to use it and how we're going to do things a little bit differently. What I've noticed a lot of my successful products start out as is I first find a kind of creative niche, and then within that niche, I find a product. So let me explain. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on some website called eSniper, which I'm going to show you in like 2 minutes. This is a curation of all these popular, winning, validated products. And so all of these products that they're going to give us, we're most likely not going to use. However, each product is going to give us an idea of the niche we're going to get into, right? So now, once we have a niche that seems interesting, and we're like, I would have never thought of that, then we go and then we single-handedly try to go and search and find for products that are validated based off of our little checklist, which I mentioned in the videos before. So then once we have a handful of products that we like and niches we probably would have never thought of, we'll be like 95% closer to already finishing our product research. So the first thing I want to show you is eSniper. This is personally what I use. I like it. There's other websites that are very similar to this that just shows you a curation of popular products that are selling well via Facebook ads. But this is pretty simple. You can start a free trial, or actually you can start for $1. I'll have a link below. If there's no link, you just type in esniper.com and it's right there. So let me show you how I use it. So I go through, and this is kind of inside the dashboard, and it's a curation of popular products. In fact, if I just refresh it, it'll probably already have a couple new products. Oh, no, damn it. But regardless, they pretty much refresh their products every couple of hours. So I went through here and I picked some really cool products. And actually, this one, which I just saw a little bit earlier, I didn't even show it as an example, but this is a really good idea as well. Wood carving disc. Things that are kind of odd and niches I would have not really thought of before, like the wood carving niche. I would have never thought of this. But this is something that can sell extremely well. So I basically would go through here, and one-handed soldering tool. Like if I don't know a word, honestly, like soldering tool, I would literally type in soldering tools on Google and be like, okay, what kind of tools are there? And then I see, one tool is really ranking up in the listing. And then I would cross-check it, look and see what are my margin, what is the competition, what is kind of like the demand here, and I would add that to my list. I would literally put it in my notes. And so let me just kind of scroll through and see if I could find any other products, and then I'll show you the ones that I specifically picked out. Okay, let me just quickly say, do not sell products like this, because if you sell any copyrighted products like Star Wars, Marvel, anything else, sure, it might be able to sell well. I've never done it, honestly. Like truthfully, I never will, because it's kind of scary. I don't know if they can go and attack you and actually milk your entire LLC, or it's just a cease and assist. But I would not dip into things like this at all. Make sure that they're not copyrighted, or you're not selling under like Disney or something. So let's keep scrolling down. You know what? Let's just keep scrolling down. And so LED taillights, like this is kind of weird and odd, but some of the products that I chose in specific was this one. Now, it's kind of blacked out and dark, but this is an outdoor camping fishing chair. So truthfully, this is an outdoor fishing chair. I don't know why they tried to do that, but this is probably just a chair that can hold multiple rods for fishing. And so if I go in and I look at fishing chairs, I will start up here, and I'm now looking into not only the fishing niche, but the fishing chair kind of genre. And then I go ahead and I'm looking at, oh, okay, click chair, like this is interesting. I see Bass Pro Shops, a fishing chair right here. And I'll kind of go down the line. Like this one actually caught my attention. So I opened it here. And then by the way, this guy's going to get taken down. You can't have like a highlighted border on this. Google will definitely crawl that image eventually. But if you look, you'll see like, ooh, like his landing page is pretty bad. It's not very good. And then in the other video, when I go over design, I'm going to explain kind of why they designed it this way and how you can design it even better without even giving it any thought. So this is actually a good example, very high price point for a chair with a rod holder. That's ridiculous. That's pretty cool to me. I like it. I like it a lot. I like how they have two photos of this. Very interesting. So this one is actually a security camera. I don't know why this is kind of dark on the bottom, but this is like the security niche is what I was more into. So I was like, ooh, security cameras. So I typed in security cameras and I was looking through and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to sell a security camera, but what if I do a security camera doorbell, like something even more niched? And I'm like, oh, okay. So obviously there's Ring. This is very popular. Now there is someone actually selling Deep Discount Deals Co. Interesting. So maybe there is a little, oh wait, there's like 5,400 searches a month. This is actually not a bad idea. I like this. This is actually not bad. I don't care if there's a Wish thing here. That doesn't matter to me, because once you make a very hyper-focused one product kind of style store, or at least a niche store, your landing page is going to win the customer over rather than some spammy. Let's just look at how they kind of made this. Oh yeah, see, this is yeah, okay. So this is fine. I know Wish is a big company and that's great, but this is not going to make anyone feel super secure about going ahead and getting some Wish item to protect their home. Like this, like that's just not going to work. If it was like a teddy bear, okay. But you guys kind of see where my thought process is, right? So then if we keep on going, okay, waterproof military tactical jacket. I just saw this because it kind of caught my eye in the beginning. It was actually a good thumbnail. This is something you can kind of look into. Another one is this one right here. I saw this when scrolling through. This is kind of mimicking a very popular company. I think everyone has already seen this, and it really reminded me. Now this is a little bit saturated, if I'm to be honest, but you can go into this idea and see what other niches are there. Because you know how in the other video I was showing you that roller, that kind of foam roller that vibrates? That's kind of something you could have found if you went through this, I guess, rabbit hole of, okay, here's a lookalike of Theragun. Like if I'm to show you, like this is where it's really mimicking, and you can see, oh, this actually might not be, oh, it's interesting. They actually did a good job for their listing. Let's see who these guys are real quick. And hopefully this isn't boring, but this is literally one-to-one what I do. Okay, well, they almost did it right. Almost, but their landing page is horrible. They were so close, so close. But what I liked is that they had some good text in here. Do not ever put free shipping in your, never do that, because you already have it down here. And then also quieter. I thought this was smart, so I thought they were smarter, because they put quieter than Theragun Carbon. Why did I like this? Because they use the keyword Theragun to rank, and there's 135,000 searches a month. The fact that they actually used another competitor's name to hopefully rank in the same spot, however, they completely blew it because their landing page is not very good. And the fact that they're still ranking in that spot, which is a lot of search volume, they must be squeaking on by somehow. I have no idea, but they're still somehow getting some sales. But once again, I kind of digress, but this is exactly what I do. Now, this also kind of reminded me of the IPL lasers. I wanted to quickly go over this because in one of my YouTube videos, I mentioned IPL lasers. This is a hair removal device. It blew up about 2018. Yeah, I would say around 2018, maybe even 2017 when no one knew about it, but it might be 2018. However, this was like a huge hit. And so when I mentioned it on my YouTube channel, I said, here's an example, but do not do it. However, people still did it and they still made money. Unreal. I have no idea how. But then when I was scrolling through, I saw this. So Wetty. This is a new company I'd never seen before. But if they're private labeling this, I don't know if this is real or fake, these little pop-up notifications someone just purchased. But if they're private labeling this and they're advertising it still on Google Ads and they're ranking kind of high in the listing, that is interesting to me. Now, yes, there's a lot of search volume, honestly, for kind of things like this. Not IPL lasers specifically, but like hair removal devices. This is a good niche. But I just wanted to kind of show you. Now, another couple examples I have are things like this, safety anti-skid chain. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I would have never thought of this at all. Like, this was so interesting to me. So then what I did was, yes, I went through kind of the rabbit hole. I looked into this. So I'm just going to type in safety chain tires, and we can see that this is the product that's honestly pretty similar. I see that there's a lot of drop shippers. So this is interesting. So notice how we typed in safety chain tires and we saw like, okay, it looks kind of not very exciting to me, honestly. But if we go right here, mud and sand tire traction, like this just looked interesting. I don't know. This is something that I would look into if I can have good margin with this. This looks interesting and unique. If you made like a specific store around why this is great, this spider looking thing. This is just an example of exactly, like I said, what I do to find these products. And so I kind of rinse and repeat over and over. Now, what I really want to do right now is recap. The reason why we are using this is not for the products, it's for the niche. We need to find the niche so then we can kind of do this strategy. We're getting all these ideas. You can go through this each day. It's a curation of new products. I'm going to click refresh. Come on, don't let me down. Damn it. So it's a curation of new products. And then you're going to go through and you're going to find one product, then a niche, and then another product from that niche. And you're going to kind of keep on going down this little web right here until you find at least a handful of products that you feel super confident with. And remember, don't worry too much because obviously you're not going to spend too much money in testing, which is what we're going to be getting into in other videos. But hopefully this helps, and I'm going to go over the other ones right now. Okay, so basically this is going to be one of the more advanced strategies to find these hidden winning odd products and niches and even not so odd products. And what we're going to be using is the Alibaba search directory. This is going to be your guaranteed way to find something that is going to work. If you put in the time, it's just going to work. Like, it's impossible not to find something if you use this. But let me show you exactly how we're going to use this. So first, it's very similar kind of to the eSniper tutorial, but it's also going to be a little bit more in depth. So right now we're going to be looking through the directory, and it's going to have a lot of links, a lot of categories, a lot of niches, and you'll see that in a minute. And so we're going to be, yes, clicking on those links to see like, oh, what is this? Like, what is this product? What is this niche? And so we're going to analyze a little bit of it. And then, of course, we're going to then search on Google. So once we search on Google, this is when we're going to be implementing another video right after this, where I'm going to show you how we're going to use the Google search filters. This is going to help us filter through the searches, and I'm also going to show you how we're going to analyze what are the best products in this based on how high they're ranking. If they're ranking a little bit higher, that means they have a higher CTR and all that other good stuff. That means it's most likely more of a higher demand product. and then we're going to, of course, cross-check it with saturation. But anyway, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. What we're going to be covering is how we're going to be using the directory, looking at the products, and then after we're going to double cross-check it by using some Google filters, and then, of course, a couple other things. So first, right now, all we have to do is actually just go to Alibaba.com. But then after that, we go hover over here to categories, scroll all the way down, and just click on all categories. This is going to take us to everything that literally China has. I mean, it's pretty close. But what's going to be very unique is that it already labels everything for us. All these weird products, because none of these suppliers are going to make things that don't sell. They are only making products that are most likely to sell. That's all they care about. And so you're going to obviously have like a big umbrella. Okay, everything agriculture and food. And then you're going to have subsets of what this is. Now, let me just quickly backtrack. No, we're not going to be selling anything in agriculture and food. But my point is that all of these things sell for one reason or another. But it's our job to find the things that would sell really, really well with the least amount of effort on Google. That is our job, and this is going to make it so much easier because there are a ton of things that I would have never, ever found ever. So like one of them is actually like mannequins. Like mannequins is actually a really weird niche that is very popular, and especially among business owners. A lot of business owners actually have to buy mannequins in bulk because they have clothes and they have to put it up in their store. In fact, I bought a mannequin because when I had my custom boxers, I needed pretty much a product video of the custom boxers, and mannequins was definitely the best route for that. So there's a whole bunch of other subsets in this, and so I actually kind of want to show you some of the best industries. So actually this one is a very good subset or niche or industry to look into. I mean, literally look into all of these, and I'm gonna show you the examples of things that I clicked on, but I'm gonna give you a quick overview. This one I really want to highlight. I don't know anything about cars. Truthfully, like the only reason why I want to highlight this is because in the auto industry, many of them only can sell on Google. Google is their main traffic and profit kind of engine. However, I know a lot of them do not understand Google still. And so if you can understand and get motivated about like auto parts and everything, this is a great industry to go into and figure out which auto parts you would sell. I'm not a big car guy. I don't really know much about cars, but I like nice looking cars, but I have no idea what's inside of them. So if you know anything about that, I would actually say this is not a bad idea to go into. So of course you have, all these accessories and everything, like that's great. Especially handbags. I really like these. Honestly, I would really go into like any of them. Just let me just show you a couple of them that I picked right after. But one of them that I really wanted to highlight down here was service equipment. So I thought something that was really funny. I literally went to all the way on the bottom. And before I forget to kind of show you guys this little trick, make sure to always click View More. View More is going to show you a lot more results right here. And the results that a lot of other people wouldn't have found. So if you just click View More, boom, you see all of these new results. Now, if I go to service equipment, which is now over here, I actually found, which is kind of crazy, but funeral supplies. The funeral industry is very, very big because eventually everyone goes through this. So over here, you actually have caskets. There's over 90,000 people searching for caskets, which is insane. Now, what's even crazier is that you only have a handful of companies selling these. And if I went over here and I typed in, actually, let me just see if they already have it right here. Look at this. Popular, new finish. Like this one looks pretty decent, right? We can kind of see how the design looks. Look how similar that looks to some of these. It's almost identical. And so this is just one example I found, like not even kidding, in 10 minutes. And I've been through this directory a lot of times, and I just never came across this. So it might be worthwhile to going over it a couple days. So if I click on this, Divine Caskets, we'll see that their website is honestly just like terrible. There's no selling on this. This is like exactly what you do not want to do. And what's even worse, they're selling a high priced item for sure, but the picture, there's only one photo. So this is an extremely opportunistic industry for sure. I mean, 90,000 searches, and it doesn't look like anyone's really capitalizing on this. Now, however, I will say, you know, if you're going to sell a higher ticket item, I'll be honest, it's a little bit more advanced. Personally, I would sell a more lower ticket item, which I'm going to show you more examples of. But still, the idea of this, it still applies as a good opportunity. Now, the next thing I want to show you is, let's go over here. So I clicked on I don't even know how to say this word. It's lacquerware, I think. This is a unique kind of design style that a lot of people are apparently searching for. Over 4,000 people are searching for this kind of style of design. It's a very unique niche, and why I wanted to highlight it is because design and artistic things have higher value. So if you can really hit on an emotional product like this, the value kind of increases a little bit, and your margins are typically a lot better. However, I don't know if this is a good industry or not, but it is an industry I would have never found, and it might actually be a good one to look into. Now, another thing I was looking at and I clicked on randomly was blenders. Now, usually I don't recommend selling just generic products like, you know, a blender. However, it's pretty obvious, like the BlendJet, which I think everyone has heard about, you know, took off, and it was just selling these little blenders. And of course, there's thousands of blenders in the market. However, I also was like, okay, well, instead of just selling these dinky blenders, like Vitamix or Vitamix, however you say it, they're huge and everyone knows of them. But are there people looking for alternatives? So then I went and I was like, Vitamix alternative. And I was like, there are. There's over 1,000 people already just typing this in regularly on an alternative to this expensive blender. And so if you can find like a middle tier, like if you can sell a blender for $150 that looks very similar to the Vitamix and have a killer landing page, I would put my money on that, and I would say it would work. As long as you hit all the pain points, as long as you reassure that and make sure that it's actually going to be somewhat comparable, it could definitely work. Now, remember, this is just one example. You can do this across so many different industries. So don't take it as like, okay, I'm gonna go sell blenders. No, just understand that this is something that I do across different industries. Okay, I don't want to lead you guys astray. So hopefully you understand that. And then the next thing is, I found this category actually when I was literally searching down here. For some reason, it was literally just a category of bulletproof vests. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, like literally they made a specific category for this. So I looked into it, and it looks honestly like a pretty good industry. I kind of typed it in. I saw 135,000 searches a month. That's excessive. And I saw this company, Spartan Armor. So I clicked on these guys. We'll look on these guys. This is definitely an industry that I thought was kind of interesting to look into. As long as it's legal, definitely make sure that, you know, this is kind of legal to sell. But regardless, I mean, it looks like there's quite a few people selling this, and bullet safe. So I think actually this is interesting because we see that they only have tactical vests, bullet vests. Okay, let's see if they have any traffic. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is actually a really good example, guys. Okay, so what I like to see, I mean, it doesn't really happen often, but if you could see something that a company is really focusing on one product, it looks very simple, and you see that they actually have traffic, a lot of the time. So what I'm using right now is SimilarWeb, and I'm going to be going over this in other videos, but this extension doesn't always show the traffic. Like, you're not always going to find a good website that also has a lot of traffic, but that's not to say that the website doesn't get any traffic. I have plenty of websites and this thing just doesn't show, but I have others that this thing does. So it's just kind of one easy way to really make sure that this website gets a lot of visitors. So this was another good industry, and like I said, it only took a couple minutes to find. A couple other ones that I mentioned, mannequin. We'll make sure that the mannequins are actually, we don't want to go into like an industry of like sex toys. That's definitely not something. I don't even actually. You can't sell that on Google. But I know that like I would really position the mannequins towards business owners. That's the angle I personally would choose. And then we have this kind of weird one, which was bamboo furniture. I know a lot of people are into kind of this style. And I personally have been recently furnishing my place. So I've been looking into more like furniture. And so that's been kind of top of mind. But I know people go really crazy over just buying a bunch of like new decor. And there's a lot of people addicted to this style. So this is a couple things that I found, and you can kind of understand where I'm going with this, right? But if I'm to recap, what are you supposed to do with this, right? Be like, all right, Charlie, what am I supposed to do with all this? Well, my recommendation is to just copy exactly what I did. What I do is I'll look at the top of these kind of lists and be like, okay, apparel, okay, this looks like at least something could be in here. And I'll go in here, ooh, okay, sportswear, open. Let's see, uniforms. Okay, what kind of uniforms? Dancewear. Okay, what kind? And I open. Then I go and I search on Google, right? Just how I've been showing you guys. And then I go into here, okay, open. And I'll go through at least a handful of these, search on Google and see what's the opportunity like. Like if I'm to look at this right now, this doesn't look very opportunistic. But if I was to go a little bit more in depth, and actually use the Google filters, which I'll show you guys in the next video, maybe I could find one item that is like the hottest item of lacquerware, and I could just sell that one item and simplify this and literally be a little tiny dot in this niche and be absolutely, just fine on profitability, right? And same thing with caskets. Like this is, honestly, I kind of feel bad for this example, but I mean, it is part of life. And it honestly is a huge industry that I totally forgot about. So this is a really interesting idea. The only issue I would have with this is shipping, right? So I would make sure that, how am I going to ship this? What would that look like? Actually, I think I know someone that is shipping very large items. And so what they do is they ship by sea. And it's actually not that bad. It's not that expensive at all. I mean, regardless, it looks like you can even work in your margins and get these caskets for not that expensive. And so since there's only a couple people here with terrible landing pages and they're surviving, that's a huge like green check mark. They did everything wrong and they're still profitable in advertising in a very high search volume environment, right? So I don't want to make this video too long because now I want to show you the kind of other video on where we're going to be using the Google filters, and I'm going to be kind of pulling out specific examples. And I have an example in there with lower ticket products as well that I personally like a little bit more. So let me kind of get into that. Okay, so I want to show you a couple Chrome extensions you should download. The first one is called the Keywords Everywhere tool. It's this guy right here, and it's going to allow you to see the search volume of keywords that you type in. So for example, this term has 140 searches a month. This term has 27,000 searches a month, and you'll see me use it very often. Now this cost per click, I'll mention this again, but never ever go off of this. This thing is not, it doesn't matter because it doesn't take into account the way we structure our ads. Now, the Keywords Everywhere tool is a paid tool. I suggest you pay for it because it's extremely inexpensive. I think I paid $50 and I've been using it for a long time and I haven't used all my credits at all. But this is just what I use. Now, the other Chrome extension I want to show you is SimilarWeb. So if I click right here, boom. So SimilarWeb is going to allow you to really see how much traffic a website is getting. Some websites, they won't show up, but a lot of them will. And so you can see a really good monthly kind of visitor volume on someone's site. And so you can see if they're scaling, if they're not doing so well. Like another example is Snow Teeth Whitening. You can see that they're scaling right here. But what I want to quickly say is that with this extension, you won't be able to see the current month of monthly searches. So it's January and it's only showing December. So just keep that in mind. Now, if I'm to give you a little in-depth of how I use this, it's not too complicated. I like to see where the traffic is coming from as far as country. I want to see that, oh, is this mainly US, or kind of what's going on here? And if we scroll down, we could even see if there is some search or if there's a lot of social. Now, I never really say like, oh, if this website doesn't have search, then this is not going to work. No, I mean, I don't really care too much. If I see a lot of social, you'll see a lot of drop shippers have like 70% social here. And I mean, that's good. It's good to know that a lot of their stuff is working with cold traffic, but it's not like an indicator that I really go off of. If you want to know exactly what I go off of, I literally look at this. I'm like, do they have traffic? Ooh, okay, cool. Then this is going to help me kind of say, yes, this product or website is extra validated. Now let me cross-check it with everything else that I cover in this course. Now, to get this Chrome extension, just go to similarweb.com and you click right here, get started, and it is free. So I choose the free one. I don't choose anything else. I don't do the enterprise one. I just have the free one, and it works really well. Now, like I mentioned, there's no reason to go super deep into anything extra with SimilarWeb unless you want to. As I'm going throughout the other modules, you'll see how I use these tools. But the last one I want to cover is this screen capture. Just type in full page screen capture, and it's going to allow you to go on a website and literally click one button, and it will like literally screenshot that entire page. And so if you're designing or whatnot, sometimes it helps. But those are the main Chrome extensions that you'll see me use throughout the course. And other than that, that's about it. So I'll see you in the next